I wanted to be not be in my market, but make decisions based on the numbers. Numbers never lie. Like, people are going to make up stories, but numbers will tell the true story.
Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Eat, Sleep, and Invest. I'm your host, Brian Driscoll, and I'm here with Sharad Mehta. What's going on, man?
Hey, Brian. Not much, man. Not much. Just excited to be on this podcast. Today's Friday. Man, super excited. The weather's warming up in Toronto, Canada. So yeah, I can't complain.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's warming up here too in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
All right, so you deal with CRMs, right? For a real estate investor, like, what's the benefit? I talk to some guys, they're like, I'm running our stuff out of Excel spreadsheets. Like, explain, what's the benefits of the CRM?
The benefit of the CRM is to be more organized. If you're doing like a deal or two here and there, probably you don't need a CRM. You can just do like a legal pad, paper, and then just use your cell phone for the most part if you're doing like an odd deal here and there. But if you want to scale your business, if you want to know what's going on in your business, you want to be more on top of like the contacts that you have, and automate a lot of things in your business. That's where like the CRM comes in. Like, it adds a lot of automation, and gives you a built-in systems and processes that you can just right away implement in your business.
Okay, and I guess we should take a step back here too. Give everybody a little background on what you do and how you got into this space.
I live up in Toronto, Canada, but I'm moving to San Diego area, Carlsbad, California in a couple of months here. Yeah, I got into this space. So I'm a very active investor in Northwest Indiana market, right outside of Chicago, for anyone that's not familiar. So, I'm like 45 minutes outside of downtown Chicago is where I invest. And I used to live in Chicago. That's why I picked that market. So in 2015, I ended up moving to Carlsbad. So, and until then, I was using like a very basic system in my business. We were buying from MLS for the most part, doing a little bit of marketing, but, pretty much buying from MLS. And then when I moved to 2015 in San Diego to Carlsbad area, that's when I looked at, all right, I'm doing about 40, 50 flips a year. And I looked at, my business. I'm like, I need a system if I want to keep scaling. And, and I used to be an accountant. So I needed something that gave me good, analytics, insight into my business. And I wanted something where everybody on my business could be using the same platform. So I looked at a few different platforms. Podio was kind of the most well-known at that time. I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the idea of, using these bunch of different systems. The way I think of it is like no one really carries you don't have three cell phones, or I'm assuming you don't have three cell phones. You don't have one cell phone that you have to save your contact. You don't have another cell phone that you use to make calls, and you don't have third cell phone that you use to send emails. Like, that's kind of how my brain was working. I'm like, if I use Podio, then I have to get CallRail, I have to get Flow, I have to, get these all of the platform. Like, I don't like this. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to create something for myself that I'm going to need in my business. So that's how I started REsimpli. So probably if I had never moved out of Chicago, I think I would have never created REsimpli. So it kind of ended up growing into what it is now, working with thousands of companies all over the country. So it's been amazing, man. Yeah.
It's funny how that works. Like, one small thing triggers a snowball effect.
Exactly. I know, man. I know. I mean, I started out hiring a couple of developers, and I said, hey, this is what I'm doing it was very, very specific to my business. Like, for good 3 years, I was just using it for my business. 2019, I kind of started opening it up for other people, and I would just go to masterminds and talk about, hey, this is what I'm doing, not with the intention of selling. But, hey, this is really cool. Can I use it? I'm like, sure, and that's my kind of where it started growing up from there.
Okay. So let's talk about it. CRM. So for anyone who doesn't know, we explained that a little bit, what it does in the beginning. So how does a CRM help people with their bottom line? Like, how does it help you close more deals?
Yeah. So think of it, let's say if you were not using a CRM, right? Let's say if you're brand new, you're not using a CRM. So what you would do is you send out direct mail, right? So you get, let's say 20, 30 people to call back. So now imagine the process when these people call back, they're calling on your cell phone, right? You're writing down their name, address, and all this information on a piece of paper or some notepad. Now the person says, hey, I'm not interested. Call me back in 6 months. So just think about it. Okay, how? Like, are you setting a task on your cell phone to call them back in 6 months? And what if, when they call back, you don't pick up the call? then you don't have any information. So you're calling them back, trying to get in touch with them, and then, trying to keep all the information organized. So that's what a CRM does. Now imagine if you're using a CRM, like REsimpli, you get a call from that person. First of all, you can have it forwarded to your cell phone, but you're not giving out your cell phone number. You're giving out like a VoIP number. So they call on that number, but it can be forwarded to your cell phone. So it gets forwarded to your cell phone. Then even if you miss the call, it's still being recorded in the system, right? And when you want to call them back or you want to text them back, you can do that all within the system. You can set up automations to remind you every month to call back, or you can have it where the system automatically sends a text message to the person, or sends the person a direct mail, sends the person a ringless voicemail, email. So you can automate all of this. I mean, again, if someone's doing a deal a year, one deal a year, or deal, buying from MLS, they probably don't need a CRM. But, if you're looking to do more than 1, 2, 3 deals a year, honestly, and you want to have an organized business that you can scale, that's where the need for CRM comes in. Just to have like a system and process, like it's like, you won't have like a whole bunch of business cards as contact information, like put in a binder. And then anytime you want to call, you're kind of taking out a business card and calling that person. That's just, it's kind of a, putting in the same context. If you don't have a CRM, that's what you're doing. You have all this information on a notepad and you're looking at the notepad, calling them. But if you don't have a smartphone, and then you have all these business cards, it's kind of, you're doing the same thing.
You know what, you made me think too. So I used to do a lot of straight up cold calling, right? And like, if I talk to someone, like, yeah, follow up with me in 3 months. And I always take notes. It's like, you know what? I'm busy. I'm going to my kid's baptism or whatever it is. I take notes. And then when you follow up with them in 3 months, it's like, you got them there. It's like, hey, Sharad, hey, we talked a couple months ago. You were going to your kid's baptism or whatever.
Exactly.
It triggered.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. I mean, just something else about someone mentions about that. Someone mentions about their kid, about their dog. You want to make sure you keep a note of that. And then when you follow up with them, you have those things. Or even if you don't write down, like imagine if your calls are recorded in the system, you listen to the call before you call them back, you can pick up exactly where you left the conversation. So when you're calling that person, it makes it seem like they are the only person that you're interested in. It doesn't feel like, a mass marketing. It feels like very personal marketing or sales that you're doing with that person.
Right. And I like what you're saying too about keeping everything in one tech product pretty much, because so you guys have a CRM, which is organizing your leads. You can leave your notes. You can make phone calls. You can text from the system.
You can email, send ringless voicemail, you can send direct mail. You can stack your list. You can cold call them. You can even have your website. It's all included. Website is included for free on every single plan. You can manage your buyers, your vendors, your bookkeeping, like anything and everything you can imagine to do, in your business, you can do within the system. We don't offer list pulling, but, people are buying lists from a bunch of different things. We have a driving for dollars, which a lot of people use to, build their list. But yeah, once you have your list, and everything after that you need in a software you can do within REsimpli.
How's the driving for dollars part work?
It's basically synced into our native REsimpli app. You just download, and then it's included free of charge on every single plan, one driver. You just basically, click start driving, and you just start driving, and then you tap on an address. And then because it's integrated with our list stacking and CRM, so if you tap on it, it will tell you if you've already marketed to them. It will tell you that this address is already in your pipeline in list stacking and you marketed to them 4 times, or this is already a lead. So you're not wasting your time and money marketing to someone that's already a lead in your pipeline. And then as you add properties, they automatically get added to list stacking. And then you can come in, you can call them, you can text them, you can send them direct mail. I mean, you can do that all from the app also. But, if you're driving around, you want to have 20 properties added or 50, 100 properties added, then you add them, then you can come back and then just, cold call them. You can send them direct mail and do all of that.
So you can send mailers directly from the system?
Correct. You can. Yeah. So we're integrated with a mail house.
Okay, nice. And I like when softwares do that too, because you can send a la carte mail. Like it's not like you have to send 1,000 pieces, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you can send one off also. Yeah, there's no minimum quantity that we have.
The thing I see with investors a lot, which you can tell me if you see the same, a lot of investors, you get the lead and only 10% of the leads want to sell today.
Oh yeah. I mean, if that, yeah, exactly. If that, yeah, I would say, yeah, maybe 5 to 10% of the people are ready to move forward now if the offer is right. But the vast majority of them, I mean, the cliche that money is in the follow-up, not just in real estate, but just in any sales business, money is in the follow-up. That is so true. I mean, I always like to give an example of, let's say, if you're not in the market to buy a car, but there's like a local Toyota dealership, and every quarter they send you a postcard, about some sale going on in their, at their dealership. You're going to look at it, you're going to toss it out because you're not in the market to buy a car right now. But let's say your car breaks down like a year from now. The first thing that's going to go to your mind is, if you're in the market for, Toyota, Honda, or that kind of a car, it's the Toyota dealership, just because they planted a seed in your mind, just letting you know, hey, if you want to buy a car, you may not be ready to buy a car, but when you are, here's our information. That's exactly what we're doing with our marketing. And then with the 90% of the people that are not ready, that's where the automation of the CRM that we built in REsimpli comes in. Like you get those leads and not ready to sell right now, but you don't have to worry about them. The system will automatically, text them, call them, remind you to call them, send them direct mail, send them email. So then all the automation is done. Whenever they're ready to sell, they will call you, and then you can just start the conversation right there. But you're just staying on their radar every month, every other month, however often you want to, kind of stay in touch with them.
That's huge. Now, the drips, sequences, things like that, are they already built out, or how complicated are they to set up?
No, I mean, they're pretty super simple, man. I would say 8 or 10 are built out right out the gate. I would say for the most common circumstances, where you get a missed call, or you're trying to get address of the property, those are already built out within the system. But then based on that, you can build as many as you want. If you have like some specific situation, like we have a lot of people that do probate, for example. So they'll build out one that's specific to probate, but then the foundational pieces are already there. You can just basically copy and paste and just change some language. But 8 to 10 are already available. You can just click a button and then activate on your leads without changing anything.
That's cool. Yeah, that's interesting too. So you even do landers. Like, what do the landers look like? Like, what are they built on? Are they WordPress or?
The WordPress website. Yeah.
Okay.
WordPress website. Yeah. Yeah. It's a full WordPress SEO optimized website that you can use. You just go in, just all you need is your own domain. Everything else we'll just take care of within REsimpli.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to check them out. Maybe we'll test 1 or 2 of them out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And yeah, they're included free of cost. You don't have to pay anything for it. Every single plan comes with one website.
Yeah, and so what that means for anybody using a CRM, they don't need Zaps or anything like that. Like, it'll send information right into the CRM.
Yep, exactly. So you have the website, and website questions are exactly in sync with what you wanted. The lead intake form, somebody fills in a lead on your website, it just automatically comes into the system. No Zapier, nothing needed. Yeah. I mean, that was our thought process, right? Nobody gets up in the morning and say, oh man, I can't wait to build some Zaps today, right? I don't, and we figure nobody else does. So that's kind of what we did. We're going to create something that I'm still a very active investor. So I look at everything from, all right, would I want to use this in my business? Would I want these integration? Would I get up excited in the morning? Would I want to focus on growing my business or working on the back end, integrating all these, fragmented software? So I figured I don't want to do that. I'm sure nobody else wants to, or majority of the people don't want to do that. And that's kind of our, customer base is people that just want a system that works out of the gate, has everything you need, and then just works flawlessly.
Now, in this system, specific for real estate investors, right?
Correct. Yeah, only for real estate investors.
And I think that's important too. Like, I'm an investor myself, and I look at our lead gen the same way. And I think it's important with a CRM. You're not just a dev guy making a CRM that you think might work. You're actually making something that works in your business.
Oh,
and then
absolutely.
other people use it.
Yeah, no, I don't have, I'm the founder of the company, but I don't have any technical background. I used to be an accountant, so I come from a business accounting background. But yeah, I don't do any coding, nothing. I just come up with ideas. I mean, I don't even come up with ideas. It's most of the ideas are coming from the investors that are using our platform. At this point, we're working with some pretty large companies, investors doing 20, 30, 40 deals a month using our platform. And they're the ones who are coming to us with ideas. So my job, honestly, is just make sure the ideas that they're coming up with, we execute on those.
Yeah. Now, how are you getting your deals? Like, you're doing a pretty decent volume.
I mean, right now, I do about 20, 25. I used to do 40, 50 a year, but as my business, as REsimpli has, taken off, It just, I don't have as much time to do, focus on the flipping side of the business. So we do direct mail, we do cold calling, and then we do PPC and pay per lead. I would say those are the four main lead sources.
Hey, Sharad, so how big's your team?
For my real estate investing business, it's 4 of us, including myself, but I'm not very active in the business. I'm like, maybe I hardly spend 5-10 minutes a day in the business, if that. But I have a lead manager. She actually used to live in Philippines, but she just moved to Canada for her studies. So she's now in Canada. And then I have my acquisition manager. She's commission only in Indiana. She's the only local person. And we do, our business is pretty much like fix and flip. Most of the deals, we do fix and flip to other turnkey investors. I own a property management business, and my project manager is based in California, and she's managing everything from California in Indiana. And then everyone on our team, from my lead manager, myself, my project manager, and my acquisition manager, everybody works from REsimpli. That was kind of our goal from day one when we started with REsimpli, was to create something where everyone on my team can be on one platform. That's kind of what we do right now. I don't use anything else in my business, so we're all just on REsimpli and working from there.
That's crazy. So you do like even the project management stuff in there?
Yeah. So you can do scope of work, you can do full accounting, bookkeeping, everything.
That's great. Like you can even replace QuickBooks? Like it does like the true bookkeeping?
Yeah, it does. It links up your bank account. Yeah, I don't use QuickBooks in my business anymore. And a bunch of other investors using our platform, they didn't use QuickBooks.
Yeah, that's interesting. Anyone who doesn't have a CRM, go check it out. Cause that's interesting because you're right. Like even me in our business, we have CRM, we have QuickBooks, we have like 10 different tech stacks.
Yep.
We
exactly.
have to connect them together and it's like spaghetti. It's like my Zapier has like 500,000 zaps a month,
Yeah, exactly. And you're paying all this money to Zapier to do all that. We integrate with Zapier also. Some people are using different platform, but our goal is like not have a need for Zapier at all. But some people will still choose to use like a different, program for something else because they're heavily invested in it. But yeah, I don't use anything else. I use QuickBooks for my other business, for REsimpli, but for my real estate investing business, I don't use QuickBooks. Yeah, we have everything on REsimpli, and just like a lot of other investors that are using our platform, they just use REsimpli. We've also started offering bookkeeping services on a beta, project. So we're doing bookkeeping for some of our investors, switched over, but they're not, they just want somebody to manage their books. So we just started offering that also.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Now, if somebody's using a different landing page or has different sources, how do they get the information into the CRM? Do they use a webhook, like a Zapier webhook, or how's that work?
Yeah, they can use a Zapier webhook. I would say like for a website, for example, a lot of people use Carrot. So they will just integrate Carrot. Carrot, we have direct integration, so they don't need to use Zapier. We'll just integrate directly for them, the Carrot website into REsimpli. But if they're using, let's say, texting platform, then we can integrate it for them through Zapier, and all the leads will just flow directly into REsimpli.
So how much does this cost?
So starting at $99 a month, it goes all the way up to $749 a month. $749 would be, for larger teams that are in multiple markets. I would say these are people that are in multiple markets, people that are tired of honestly using Salesforce. That's what we notice. A lot of people that are using Salesforce right now switching over to REsimpli are coming from, like on enterprise plan, are coming from Salesforce. But the $99 plan, it includes list stacking, CRM, website, driving per dollar. So it's a really good value for anyone starting out and just need everything in one platform to get started. There's some other platform that will just charge you like $50 to $80 just for the website. We don't do that. It's everything is list stacking, websites, CRM, calling, texting, all of that is included.
How tough is it to get set up? Like, is it a big intake process, or what's the process like there?
No, you could be up and running in 1 minute. You just log in and then just buy phone number, start calling right away. We offer free unlimited onboarding also. So if you need help setting up, there's some self-help tutorials that we have, so you can follow that and just be up and running. But if you need help, then we offer unlimited onboarding also.
Awesome. So if anyone wants to check it out, what's the website? Where do they go?
You go to REsimpli.com and just check out the pricing and everything we have to offer. And if they have any questions, they can reach out to us. There's a live chat. There's a phone number that they can call. They can email us. And we're more than happy to answer any questions.
Cool, man. That's really interesting. Yeah, because anyone listening that's in this space, you have to have automations. You know what we forgot to talk about? KPIs.
Yeah, that's one thing that our platform does better than any other platform because it's, I mean, think of it, it's like kind of built on top of an accounting software, right? So the KPIs, we can tell you for every marketing campaign that you're doing in your business, for every dollar that you spend it down to the penny, how much money you're making for it. So imagine if you're doing direct mail to absentee list and probate list. Now you can separate your data for each of the lists and know exactly how much money you spent on each list and how much money you've made, how many leads you got, what your conversion from each of the marketing campaigns down to the penny. So that's the data that very, very accurate that you get from our platform that you won't get from any other platform. That's kind of how I started. I used to be an accountant, so that KPI part was super critical for me to know exactly what's going on with our business, because I was living in California. So that kind of heavily influenced how I built the system. I wanted to be able to, not be in my market, but make decisions based on the numbers. Numbers never lie. Like, people are going to make up stories to justify why something isn't working, but numbers will tell the true story. So, we built the system the way we did just so that I can look at the numbers and make decisions based on that. So yeah, I mean, that it's a very, very detailed KPI dashboard that you get.
That's nice. And now, does it attribute back to when the money was spent? Like, say you're doing a mail or Google ads or something, and
right.
A lead comes in today, and we close in 4 months. Can they trace that back to the original spend, back to this month's marketing?
If you're setting up separate campaigns for each of the mailer that you're doing, then yes. But if most of the people, what they do is like they'll run separate. I mean, we have some people that have like hundreds of different campaigns, so they want to track it to that level. If you want to do that, then you can definitely do that. In my opinion, that's a little bit overkill. But if someone wanted to do that, have that level of detail, then you can do that. You can attribute it down to exactly where you spent the money.
Nice. That's interesting. I know, especially we always look at it like on Google and Facebook. If we spend money on Google today, and then we retarget that person in 2 months, and then they come back and turn into a deal, we want to give Google the credit back when we spend it, not Facebook. It just didn't retarget.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can do that, like, depending on how you want to attribute, right? Some people would want to attribute the lead source to the first contact. Some people would want to do it to the remarketing. So it's very personalized decision. It's very individual. Some people, we know, they say, hey, if somebody saw my TV, somebody got direct mail from me, but they went on my website, and then filled out the form on the website. And some investors would, attribute that lead to direct mail. Some would do it to website, depending on how they want to track their KPIs.
Right. Okay, that's good. So there's some flexibility there.
Yep, absolutely.
And you confirmed it. So it's REsimpli, because a lot of people are like, is it REsimpli, REsimpli?
I know, man. Yeah, no, it's either, man. It's REsimpli or REsimpli. I call it REsimpli just because it's like less syllables. I feel like if I call REsimpli, it's just like, I feel like I'm dragging out the name. But yeah, it's interesting. I never thought about it when we first started the company. That it's crazy. It's like I get asked many times when I jump on a call, hey, is it REsimpli or is it REsimpli? So it's either is fine, as long as you're a paying customer. But I just say REsimpli just because it takes me less time. Honestly, that's the main reason. Yeah.
Yeah, that works. It's like SCM Rush and SEM Rush.
Yeah, exactly. Or HF or stuff like that. Yeah.
So you said it's REsimpli.com, REsimpli.com, right?
Yep, REsimpli.com. Yeah.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't have a CRM, or if you do have a CRM and it's not doing what you need to, like, KPIs are really important. The automations are huge. Think about it, because you need this stuff. One deal could pay for an entire year or two's worth of software.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, I just talked to a buddy last week. He just locked up a deal from last October just from drips. He's like, yeah, we just been dripping them, could never get a hold of them. They came through, we locked it down like 5-6 months later.
We are negotiating on a property that's been on a drip since 2019. This is like even before somebody was even using REsimpli. So we have a lead. My lead manager was talking to her. She's like, oh, this lead has been on drip for 4 years now, since 2019. Imagine that. And it just was finally ready to sell. I mean, that's the power of drip campaign. Or that's the power of technology that you get. You can set it and forget it. So the system is doing the work on the back end for you, and then whenever the seller is ready, they will call you, and then you just start the conversation from there.
Right. Hey, what's your favorite book?
Tough question. I really have been reading a lot lately, listening to a lot of books. I would say if I had to pick one, I would say The One Thing
The one thing.
Yeah, the one thing. If I absolutely had to pick one.
That's Gary Keller, right?
Yes, Gary Keller, correct.
Okay, yeah.
But if I had to pick one, I would say that's definitely the one thing. It just changed kind of a lot of things in my business personally and on the business side. So yeah, I would give a lot of credit to that book.
Okay, awesome. Hey, well, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, man. This was great. Thank you for having me.
Hey, sure. And hey, everyone, thanks for listening. Yeah, go check out Sharad's website. And if you guys need deals, we can supply the leads to fill the CRM for you. So check out motivatedleads.com. All right, guys. Hey, well, thanks for listening. Thanks, Sharad. Everyone get out there, crush it, close some deals. We'll see you next time.